More intuitions. Got news for ya. We live by our beliefs and by cultural norms. These tenets of our minds and our societies are the path of least resistance and the path of least growth. Least resistance to what? To being controlled and dominated as a people. Least growth? Least spiritual growth. If you want to do the very least for yourself and others, believe in the matrix and live by what it teaches you. That person who brings out the worst in you, is there to show you exactly that, the worst in yourself. The side of you you're not proud of and the side of you you wish you could improve on. Maybe this video will help then. Here's an exercise: pick a person, the one person in your life that you absolutely cannot stand. I don't care who it is, just make sure they turn your stomach every time you think of them. Then, take a deep breath and ask yourself, how can I love them? What do I have to look at within myself and what do I have to change to make myself love them? You don't have to love them overtly, just avoid them if that suits you better, but secretly love them. I can think of one person who's really challenging for me. My neighbor in the back apartment of this building, who is dying now, who is completely and totally predatory and who never lifts a finger for himself. Expects you to do it though. Write down a list of all the things you can't stand about this person and make sure you don't forget anything. Then ask how to reverse all your feelings. This is a funny expression, actually. I can't stand. We say we can't stand this and we can't stand that. But here we are, so many years old, we've grown to adult age and we're still standing it. Maybe we're standing in it, but we're standing it. So we can stand things. We express that sentiment but we learn how to tolerate all the crap that goes on this planet and we keep living. Ivo and I will go through my example. Having compassion for someone who you know would take advantage of, abuse, and demean you just like your parents did, just like the guy you lived with for 3 years did. Having compassion for what basically in your lifetime has been your enemy, by normal definition, but your greatest teacher by spiritual definition. Your ex, your mother, your father, both your parents, who abused you. Understand that coming to feel compassion for the people who have been your greatest challenge is your greatest triumph. Me, Ivo, how about discussing this guy? Ivo, not the neighbor you speak to, but the other one who is the alcoholic who lives behind you. Me, yes. The one I speak to I had a tete-a-tete with and he seems to be over his game of trying to seduce me. I've been very point blank with him and told him I'm in love with you and that I'm not interested in sex. For one thing, if I were, I might look like I was and I do nothing to make myself any more than comfortable in any given day. I'm not on the make and it's his game he's playing with himself. Ivo, so, my love, what about Roger, the man who lives behind you? Why can you not stand him? Me, he comes at you with a wall of lies. He talks about all the good times he's had in his life, but he's a drug addict and alcoholic and you know that everything he's saying he's just conjured up in his imagination. The guy has not dealt with life at all except by escaping it, which is mind control by the way. He lives in a fantasy world. What he does is he talks real friendly to everyone, being especially careful to make sure they never get a word in edgewise. If you tell him how you did something well, he'll tell you he did the same thing 10 times better. He one-ups everybody. He is overwhelming. He's like a black cloud that just covers everyone around him in soot. He always does everything better than you, he has lived better than you, he is smarter than you, he talks down to you. When he gets really drunk he's very abusive to people. He insults his children and makes fun of them constantly. They just put up with him, now more so that he's dying but normally only when they have to. They look after him but avoid him when he's really drunk because he's mean. Because he doesn't do a lot of things well, he wants everyone else to do them for him. My stance is I want nothing to do with him because the minute you do one thing, that's it. He commits you. It's like my cat. You get off the couch and feed him, then every time he hears you get off the couch, that means you're supposed to feed him, in his mind. You feed him when you come home, well, then every time you come home, he's there expecting a meal. Same thing. Do it once and they commit you to being their slave. I believe this insistence has to do with not getting their needs met, and in the case of humans, they're looking for another parent who they can trap into putting them first in life. There is such a thing as doing someone a favor, occasionally. These people don't recognize that. They're continual mooches. If you have plans for your life, like I do, you can't afford these people. They'll take you off your life plan as fast as you allow them to. Ivo, and you speak in the plural because you have prior experience with these addicted people. We have to look at your relationship with many men, who would have fit into that category as well, but also with Glenn. Me, I realize that I don't have a problem with Roger or Glenn. I have a problem with myself. It's what I did, what I was thinking, that got me 3 years with Glenn, who beat me once and was about to do it a second time when I ran for it. Nothing like going to work with a shiner to start to wake you up. I've heard about trauma bonding and don't entirely understand it. But I do understand that empaths and people who have come here to help humanity, like light workers, are particularly vulnerable to these mooches. The reason is because they see your niceness and willingness to help as something to be taken advantage of. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had relationships with predatory types like these, so this is why I'm making this video. Controlling, demanding, manipulative liars. My problem is with myself. Ivo, you are aware now. Me, I want to let go of the anger, and heal that anger. In the 12 steps it says that, presumably these people had not set out to be this way in life, so you should forgive them. Then a trick they taught me is to wish these people all the love, happiness, prosperity, wisdom, and anything you would want for yourself. Just make sure you're not the one supplying it, that's all. Wish them healing. Wish them higher consciousness. The question is, did I learn my lesson, and how can I rely upon myself when I failed myself so badly before? I'm sure many of you ask the same questions. Ivo, are you in a relationship with Roger? Me, I told him if he needs to go to hospital I'm here to drive him to emerge. Just bang on the wall and I'm wake up and see what he needs. That's the extent of my relationship with Roger. Ivo, then you are fine. You have learned how to protect yourself from predators. Now you wish to love them. It is true what the steps say about them. Presumably they had not set out to be that way in life, and neither has anyone else. You are all mind controlled to varying degrees. When you learn to love all as they are, not the way you would wish them to be, then you have learned to accept life on its terms and to understand the wisdom of the universe. Me, I want to stop thinking, go away, every time I see him. How do I learn to love him? Ivo, overcome your fear of these people. Me, I thought I had, and then another one insinuated himself in my life. Maybe a bit of fear is a good thing. Ivo, but then, my love, I gave you the example of a truck coming down the road as you are crossing. You move out of the way. Is this fear or is this self-love in the form of self-preservation? Me, yes. It was the video, Everyone Loves Themselves, I think that was the name of it. Yes, it was. Ivo, oftentimes your world misconstrues love for fear. Any act of self-preservation or the preservation of another is an act of love. You have an adrenaline surge and believe it is fear. It is not. It is self-preservation. You have been misled. You are not aware yet that there is more to do with adrenaline than anxiety and excitement. Adrenaline can be released upon seeing one's love, as you might when I land my ship. This is excitement as you call it, but we call it love. You have learned to label your emotions in a particularly limited way. You must start to look at what you believe you are feeling and then understand if this is a fear or is it something else. When your people are mind controlled into fearing, they will label everything as fear. Do you understand? Do you see now how so many negative emotions are being labeled as positive? Aggression is being labeled as love when it is detrimental in nature. We are aggressing against the dark ones, however it is because we love ourselves and that we love you that we do it. So some acts of aggression have to do with protection and preservation. You need to have a second look at how you label things. Me, yes, we do. So I love myself. Ivo, and that is why you avoid him. Me, so how do I love him from a distance? Ivo, forgiveness. Forgive yourself for seeing him as you have been taught to, for seeing him in fear. See him with love. Have compassion for the hardness he has brought upon himself in his lifetime out of his own misperceptions. Have compassion for the soul who is stuck in the body of a drunk, who is sharing his time on earth with demonics. You said you thought he was a portal, and attracted negative entities to your neighborhood. This would be rather accurate. Without anchors to anchor the dark upon this earth, there would be little darkness. He is a polarity reverser. Instead of light in your neighborhood, there is darkness because of him, another man and the woman across the road. You are the light. Of course they will take issue with you and attempt to control you. It all must be seen from the bigger picture. Your egos cannot explain what is going on without understanding what you cannot see. You sense his negativity though, you call him a black cloud. Do you think that any human baby on this planet wanted to become a black cloud of darkness? Something happened to him that he could not overcome. He did not hold enough light. So for this forgive yourself for misunderstanding, and forgive him for the way he is, however do not engage this man. Forgive him, have compassion for him, but steer him a wide berth. Yes, your 12-step programs say, but for the grace of God, there go I. Yes, you made it. You battled darkness and won. He did not. I see tears in your eyes, my love. Me, I really feel for him now. Ivo, not all are as strong as the light worker, who came to battle the dark. Many succumb, and he did. There are many not strong enough to battle mind control even at this point in time, and this man is such. He is now dying, so begin by wishing his soul to rest in peace upon his leaving the planet. That you can do. For those who do this exercise, do not stop until your heart opens. An open heart is the way of Earth's future. Be that way now. Understand that all are battling the dark and are winning or losing their battle to varying degrees. Earth has been in a controlled situation of repetitive reincarnation loops for eons. These Earthlings never gather the strength to fight the dark oppressors off and are continually infested with parasitic entity attachments throughout each successive lifetime. That is why light workers were brought in. You can do this. Understand that those who are suffering on your planet now have succumbed to the darkness. You have not, otherwise you would not be listening to our videos. Have compassion for those who are not capable of walking your path with you. They may disappoint you, but they would not if they were capable. Many are not living lives of their own choosing. That means your family, who believe you are crazy. That means the people on Facebook who troll your posts. That means everyone. They are at a lower level of consciousness than you are, and are not of their right minds. Be grateful for every moment you spend in higher consciousness, but do not allow these people to take advantage of you. They can be tricksters. Me, thank you Ivo. Ivo, my love, your amethyst points are lovely. You put it to your forehead and saw more of the grid. Me, I'd look pretty weird with an amethyst glued to my forehead. I'd love to keep it there though. Ivo, you can use wire to create a piece of jewelry out of these points. You got more than you were expecting. You expected to get 1 point and you have 6 or 7. Me, yes. Ivo, do you see how good you are at manifestation?